It is, unfortunately, time to say goodbye to the Flat Earth Fail compilations. We've had a blast over the years looking at the mini fails, but the time has come for this little series to be shelved. But don't worry, something will replace it. But for now, let's round off the series with the Flat Earth Fail compilation, episode 50. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Flat Earth Friday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we begin today, a quick word from me about today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN. Surfshark is a VPN service that makes online privacy protection easy and attainable, encrypting all internet traffic sent to and from your devices and ensuring that your IP address remains hidden to make sure no one can see what you do online. On top of that, they block ads, trackers, malwares and phishing attempts, and unlike other VPN services, you can use it on as many devices as you want simultaneously. It's 2023, we're on the internet all the time, but we really should care about our online data. Now you can use Surfshark to encrypt your personal information and send it via a secure VPN tunnel so no one can see it without your permission, which is really good for protecting things like your ID. ID theft is an increasingly common and scary crime. Use Surfshark and its HackLock system to get alerts anytime your email address or password is compromised. HackLock basically scans various databases of leaked information and then notifies its users if their data is found so that they can take action. Get an exclusive Surfshark Black Friday deal. Enter promo code SIMANDAN to get up to 6 additional months free at surfshark.deals/SimanDan. Right, back to today's video, which as you know is the final instalment of the Flat Earth Fail compilation, episode 50 no less. And by the way, don't worry, this is not the end of the Flat Earth Fridays as we know it, just the little mini compilation videos that we do around once a month. And we start with, well, who can it be other than the most prolific failure of the whole series, Level Earth Observer. And he's talking about the ISS, of course he is. Away you go, Elio.
Who still thinks the International Space Station is real?
Me.
Well, let's have a look. Now, just like I did last week, I'm going to use this citation from the United States Air Force to highlight the absurdity of the International Space Station.
If by instance they were flying at the altitudes that they fly at and they were to open their helmet up to like scratch their nose, if at that instant they were to lose cabin pressure, the blood in their body would instantaneously boil, it would be instantaneous death. So we have our pilots, we tell them once they close down, do not open until they land.
Sensible advice. The U-2 pilot flies approximately 70,000 feet, which I think is about 13 miles off the top of my head.
Good maths, Level Earth Observer, 13.2 miles to be precise.
And its top speed is 450 miles an hour, okay? And as our friend has just stated here, the reason the U-2 pilots wear their spacesuits is if they were to lose cabin pressure at high altitude and they didn't have their spacesuit on, their blood would boil instantly, okay? And this is where it gets incredibly silly. Now I'm going to let the NASA legend Don Pettit highlight the absurdity of the space station for all to see.
LEO seems confident here, doesn't he? Let's see what he's got.
Fresh off the back of the citation from the United States Air Force. Take it away, Don.
So you have a whole series of O-rings in here and a shaft that you rotate.
So, I mean, like on the space station, how many of these would you have?
7, because we have 7 windows.
What happens if you get a leak on that?
Then you have a leak.
Look at his face. Look at his face. Bearing in mind, the U-2 pilot is several hundred miles supposedly below these people on the space station. And if he had a leak, his blood would boil, which is why he has strict procedures. Of course, one of them is wearing the suit.
Well, not really. The army guy said that if he loses cabin pressure, then his blood would boil. Now that's a very small cabin in a U-2 plane. The ISS won't lose cabin pressure straight away from a tiny little leak. A 6mm hole, for example, wouldn't cause the ISS to lose cabin pressure for around 12 hours. More than enough time to fix it, I think.
But strangely enough, if you have a leak on the International Space Station, well, you have a leak. And it would seem this legend from NASA doesn't have a Scooby-Doo clue what to do to fix it, despite the fact, from a citation of the United States Air Force, from what they've told us, these people would die instantly.
He would know how to fix it, don't worry about that. The ISS, by the way, has an internal volume of around 900 metres cubed, and that's about the same size as an Airbus A380.
You'd have procedures that would save your life under these circumstances drilled into you, where it would be second nature, so you'd act like that should you have issues. But if you have a leak, you have a leak.
Well, he's obviously not just going to leave it, is he?
You just have a leak.
And what you would do
You
is
lose air.
Yeah, you would probably seal the whole cupola off.
Probably he doesn't have a clue what the procedures are.
To be fair to him, it's been over 11 years since Don was last on the International Space Station.
How obvious do these people need to make it for you? The United States Air Force is rubbish to space anyway with their citation from the spy plane. The space shuttle got annihilated last week from the citation from the United States Air Force. And now the space station itself has just been annihilated with the help of Don Pettit, who's highlighted how ridiculous this space story really is.
Level Earth Observer thinks it's a win by using US Air Force citations to try and prove that space doesn't exist. Of course, what he fails to grasp is that almost a quarter of all NASA astronauts ever used to be in the US Air Force. Right, moving on, and the next entry in this final Flat Earth Fail compilation comes from the man himself, Chris CC from New York, Westchester County. He's looking at the planet Venus through a camera not designed for planetary viewing. What could go wrong, I wonder?
That's what I'm talking about. Okay. There it is.
Yes, Venus out of focus. Well done you. I kid you not, this is the entirety of CC's video, zooming in and out on the planet Venus whilst continually keeping it out of focus. That's okay though, we'll have to do an extra one to make up for it. And that extra one is also talking about Venus, but this time it's from Mikey Smith. Away you go, Mikey.
Okay, morons, time to wake up. We're revisiting the whole Venus in the night sky again. You're going to have to sit and think for a while. Take any medication for any brain farts or headaches, anything above, so here we go.
Medication all taken, Mikey. Thanks very much for reminding me.
Again, Earth is supposedly the third rock from the sun. There's the sun. Venus and Mars are in the inner orbit, so they're going to end up coming this way around the sun.
I'm sure he means Venus and Mercury, but yes, carry on please.
And continue on going in a circle around the sun, correct? On your model. Why is Venus over there in the night sky?
It's not. It's over here in the night sky. As you can see, it depends on where Venus is in its orbit, but it's entirely possible.
This is North America. We're looking in the night sky this way, because the sun is coming from this way, correct?
Well, no. Once the sun has set, you can look anywhere, in any direction, and it will be the night sky, including the direction that the sun has just set from, which incidentally is also the direction you look to see Venus.
Why is Venus in the night sky over there when it's in the inner orbit over here?
Again, it's not.
Going like this around the sun, correct? Because all of these so-called planets are rotating around the sun. So at what point is Venus going to show up in the night sky? And I don't care if it's twilight or dusk or dawn. Venus should be over here, not over there.
And as I said, I think that this example here explains it quite well, how you can actually see it. You're just not thinking three-dimensionally, buddy, as per usual. Let's move on to our next flat earth fail, which comes from our friend over on TikTok, Caleb FE. Now, he shared a video on his channel from Flat Out Truth, and he's named it That Time That Gravity Showed Up in Space. Curious. Let's find out what he's got.
Some of you may be familiar with the old experiment about the hammer and the feather. Well, in this case, our feather will be played here by this four of spades. And you may expect everything up here in microgravity to float, because most everything does float.
No.
Oh dear. Caleb has shared a video which he thinks backs his stance on NASA. Confirmation bias much? Richard Garriott is the man in question here, and he later appeared on a radio show explaining that this very trick was a prank. He set the card up with a small elastic string attached to it, so when he let go of it, it would snap back and appear that it was dropped. Dear oh dear, Caleb, how have you fallen for that? Amazing. Well, our final video from our final Flat Earth Fail compilation comes from... oh, it's Mikey Smith again. Come on then, Mikey, finish off the series for us.
Okay guys, light reflection on a ball. As you see it when the sun sets, well, here, let's do it so you morons can understand. Okay, so...
thanks, Mikey. Moron over here needs to understand better.
Sun sets in the west. Okay, so how does it extend across the ocean? This is on a ball. Just not sure what you guys are talking about curvature anywhere in your so-called reality, but you don't live in reality. So again, when you see light reflection or the sunset on your supposed ball, the light extends all the way across the ocean for 1,000 miles.
Now, if you're talking about photos like this, then that's not 1,000 miles. That's 3 or 4 at best. It's a form of specular reflection off of water. But obviously the water is sometimes moving and chopping around, so it's not an exact reflection. Here is an example on a really very still lake. Almost an exact copy of the sun in the lake's waters.
On your cartoon ball, it tends... okay, so we're sitting west. How does this guy over here see the sun reflect to him on the surface of the ocean? Remember, God's son walked on water.
Well, that is enough of that. Basically, Mikey, we don't see the entire ocean when we look across it. Dear oh dear, what a wonderful way to end the series that was. But I'm afraid we're all done and dusted for the Flat Earth Fail compilations. I do hope you enjoyed them. I'll put a link in the description for the playlist for all of them, so you can go back and watch every single one from 1 to 50 if your heart desires. But for now, we're all done and dusted for another Flat Earth Friday. Thanks so much for watching. It's truly appreciated as ever. If you enjoyed it today, please do consider subscribing to the channel. We are a whisker away from that 500,000 now. And of course, if you really enjoyed this particular video, then you can either give it a thumbs up or share it as well. I've been Simon Dan. Have yourselves a cracking weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday for an Eric DeBay video where he's talking about a population hoax. Interesting. See you then.